Is joining us. He's a political marketing strategist. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Johnny.
Great, good to have you.
Yeah, good to have you too, and have a good morning.
I'm sure you've been following the happenings in Parliament regarding the ad hoc committee, the vetting, and matters arising. Now, a lot of water has passed under the bridge. You heard the chairman obviously not too happy about situations. He says he won't back down. The minority seems to be putting a spanner in his works. This impasse, how do we fix it?
Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Johnny, once again. And I want to send a good morning to our good people of Ghana and our listeners, and the people in my university, my vice chancellor, and the staff of UW. Yes, I actually am seriously following these sessions, and as in one of the words of the committee chairperson, yes, it appears that Parliament cannot be put in that manner. You see, Ghanaians have a lot of confidence in Parliament, and Parliament are supposed to be occupied by lawmakers. They are supposed to be the ones making the law. So if some of these behaviors are being showcased, some of these tendencies are being showcased, it is a little bit worrying. And I like what the Speaker of Parliament said, that it's disgraceful and it's regrettable. Actually, it undermines the integrity of Parliament.
That's right.
And for me, I'm just eager to just know the recommendations of the committee. But it's very important that the Honourable Speaker has mentioned that all those who partook in those issues at Parliament, when at the end of the day they ended up destroying certain things within that chamber, that is the vetting chamber, are going to be surcharged. It is important. Ghanaians will want to see some of these things. I don't think these things shouldn't happen again. It shouldn't. Because about 4 years ago, we had someone running with a ballot box from Parliament.
Right.
These things we usually see these things in at police stations and all that. And this is happening again. Actually, when I saw it, I was like, no. Johnny, last 2 weeks or so, I mentioned that we are not actually being careful with some of these things, especially this vetting committee. So for me, I support the call for them to be actually reappointed. I really support it. Because Ghanaians, that is the only thing, the only place Ghanaians should actually see some kind of seriousness and some kind of, it should be a sacred place.
I see. Yeah. Regardless of the divergent views that they had at the vetting table, which occasioned the brawl, subsequently the ministers have been, all of them have been approved, and all of them have been giving their authority to go and work at the various ministries. What does that also tell you of the executive?
Yeah, so you see, we are dealing with people with the highest numbers in Parliament. But you see, this vetting committee, actually, if it hadn't gone to this tangent, the tangent where it appears people want to pay people back based on certain comments they have made, the vetting committee is actually supposed to look at the competencies of these people. It is supposed to actually tell Ghanaians that this person is very competent, very qualified and experienced in this area, and for that matter, the citizens should be okay and should have the hope that these people are going to actually lead them and help solve whatever problems we have in our systems. But when, unfortunately, it is diverted, the actual channel or the actual responsibility or the role of the vetting committee, I would say diverted, because some of the questioning actually do not actually find out the experiences and the competencies of people. When it happens like that, it's questionable. Yes, the executive has the power, but Johnny Hughes, you and I know that at the end of the day, majority in Parliament are the ones who are going to approve of this.
Right.
So for me, moving forward, there is supposed to be a serious reforms where people must know how to conduct themselves as parliamentarians, as members of a vetting committee. I think in my last discussions, I mentioned that there should be some form of training sessions and all that. These things are very important. It's unfortunate we are finding ourselves here, but these things must be looked at because Ghanaians have hope. Ghanaians should have hope in all the decisions made by the executive body.
Now, today, deputy ministers designate will be before the appointments committee, of course, to tell them their competencies for them to be vetted so that they can also go and start their work. Should we expect anything different from what you have said to us already?
Yeah, so Johnny, I think that I expect that we are going to have a new vetting committee. If I say new, not I'm not talking about the personnel, because the reselection has not been done yet. But we are expecting that based on the fact that there's some of these behaviors, I'm expecting that they should actually go by their rules and devoid of actually wanting to attack people's persons and all that. They should just go by their work, look at the competencies, the qualifications, how suitable someone is based on that is the appointment or the nominations by the president, and then we'll find our way. If they are going by their work, I'm not sure we'll be having one person sitting for 5 hours and answering certain questions. I'm not sure. So I expect that there should be, the process should be very decorous, the process should be very professional this time around, because at least the Honorable Speaker has laid certain rules down, making them understand that if you continue like this, then it implies that you are actually not telling Ghanaians that you want to represent them. And in one of his words, he says that like he could not, and members could not exercise some kind of scintilla in what they do. When it happens like that, it is a little bit worrying. And as I said, as leaders, as parliamentarians, they are supposed to be mindful of their environment, and they should remember that they are on national television. So that should actually guide them in their communications, in their behaviors, in their questioning. It is important so that they will continue to get or rebuild the integrity that Ghanaians actually expect from the parliament. So we really expect them to actually put in a different show, a more professional show.
How much time is enough? Because you say 5 hours is an overkill. Should we follow your 2.5 hours or 3 hours for exams in school?
So Johnny, so I can't sit here and actually say it should take 1 hour, 2 hours, or even 5 minutes. But you see,
because somebody actually spent less than 2 minutes before the committee.
Exactly where I was going to. So you see, let's just be very, very sincere. You know, before the vetting actually starts, I have joined certain vetting committees and all that, but before it starts, at least the committee sits and decides that, okay, aside the general questions that may come up based on the responses from the nominee, some of the members they actually agreed, okay, you are going to ask questions based on the qualifications of the individual, based on the CV, based on the experiences and all that. So if that is done, as I said, at least you'll be reasonably 1 hour, 2 hours, you'll be fine. But the point is that, you see, we should also be looking at the health conditions of these vetting committee members as well. In as much as we want to sit for several hours wanting to be sure of the experiences of these people, let us actually have a particular time frame where within, let's say, the committee can decide in about 2 hours' time, we should be able to finish with one nominee, or maximum 3 hours. They should have a cap for themselves. Otherwise, you may sit for 10 hours, 20 hours. If you want to sit for 10 hours, who end up suffering? You'll be hurting your own health. And these things are also very important. These are things that we need to look at. So for me, we can't say 3 hours, 4 hours, but they can put a cap for themselves as vetting committee members.
It does appear in some instances that the nominees that appear are favorites of the committee, so they come and they take hugs and they go away. And Ghanaians are expecting that the proper scrutiny be done so that we are sure or assured that the people being sent to the various ministries or to serve as either as substantive ministers or deputies are well qualified for the job. Is that the view you also hold?
No, Johnny, I don't hold that view. You know, yes, you may be close friends with any of the parliamentarians from both parties and all that, but the fact that you've been appointed as a member of a vetting committee, you are expected to be a professional, regardless of your relationship with that individual. Even if the person happens to be your brother, even if the person happens to be your wife, you are supposed to be professional. So you should be able to draw the thin line between friendship or relationships and being professional about your job as a vetting committee member. So for that one, I've been in a vetting committee before, certain vetting committees for National Grass Act, and when you are done, people come in and back, we are friends. And I'm happy there was a comment some years back that somebody said, but Ato, I'm your friend. Oh, we are friends. You know, you have to be very, very professional with your work, regardless of your relationship. You should be able to put relationship aside. That is what professionals do when it comes to the delivery of their work.
Now,
so that is what I expect them to do.
These vetters are usually telecast for the entire nation to watch and
Yes.
to make their own assessment.
Yes.
The public so far, if you ask, and Musa Danko and his team have conducted some research into it. Some have divergent views, which is the natural thing, but you find a lot more people saying they aren't satisfied, and sometimes they even think that the chairman of the vetting committee is allowing himself to be gazumped by the minority leader, who is not supposed to be a vice chair, but always goes ahead to make the claim that, they are co-chairs of the committee. How do we cure this?
Yes, so as the chairperson of the committee, he's supposed to actually know his responsibilities. I come there again. So if you have given a member of the committee, let's say 2 minutes to make a delivery, the moment that person is done with that delivery, you take that, you take the next questions from the next person. You don't allow anybody to take center stage. There are reasons why we make people chairs for specific committees and specific places. Yes, Ghanaians are not satisfied because, as I said, and you are talking about 5 hours, 6 hours, and maybe one person actually more or less running the entire show. Ghanaians want to know that the Parliament or the vetting committee are doing this work to help them, to give them the right people to lead them. So if at the end of the day it can be hijacked by an individual or two persons, then that is not the way to go. So for me, the chairperson should show, or the chair should know that he is the one in charge. And if you are given 2 minutes to do your delivery or 5 minutes to do your delivery, you do just that. I'm not sure in Parliament, when the Speaker of Parliament gives you, let's say, 5 minutes to make your delivery, and you go beyond that, and the Speaker of Parliament tells you to actually get your case finished and then let me listen to another person, you will say no. No. And I'm happy you said Ghanaians are actually, this is being sent out there. Everyone is it's a live program. So people must remember that their environment is very important. And I mentioned this some days ago when we had the Castlehead issue.
Right.
I mentioned that people should be conscious of the environment, especially MPs should be conscious of the environment and get to know the kind of delivery they make, the kind of communication they make, because at the end of the day, that is what Ghanaians and viewers are going to use to judge you. So those Ghanaians who are looking at it and are very much concerned about the fact that they are complaining about the chair not being able to take charge. Well, maybe I wouldn't say not being able to take charge, but the chair should be able to know that if a minute or two is given to an individual who may even happen to be a co-chair or a vice chair or even a member of the committee, that person must stick to that. And as I said, if they get to know before the vetting starts, all these rules of engagement must be set out amongst themselves.
Okay.
So if they are set out among themselves and someone tries to go beyond that, then the chair has every right to put that person into order.
I thank you very much, Stephen Osei Akyiaw. He's a political and strategic communications expert. We're grateful that you spent your morning with us. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. You too.